today on WBOC News at 4.
A community is heartbroken and stunned after a man dies in a house fire. His wife fighting for her life right now in the hospital.
Plus, a construction worker gets trapped in a trench in Sussex County. We have an update on his condition.
We're in for a cold weekend, and yes, we may even see some snowflakes. I'll detail how long it's going to stay cold coming up.
Now, WBOC News at 4, Delmarva's news leader.
They've been very good neighbors for us. This is so horrible.
Tragedy in Wicomico County after an early morning fire leaves one man dead, his wife in critical condition. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Karina Paiza.
And I'm Steve Hammond. Welcome to WBOC News at 4. The fire started just before 6 this morning in Salisbury. The couple, identified now as 66-year-old William Holbrook and his wife, 41-year-old Mary Holbrook, were found unconscious in this home in the 400 block of Patrick Avenue. Fire crews say it took some time to put out the flames because their priority was getting everyone out of the home safely. The couple was taken to PRMC where William died from his injuries. His wife Mary remains hospitalized. We checked just a few minutes ago. She remains in critical condition.
And now neighbors, family and friends are simply trying to wrap their heads around this morning's tragic events. WBOC spoke with the couple's only daughter who wasn't home, thankfully, at the time of the fire. 18-year-old Monica Holbrook says she is just trying to figure out how she will arrange her father's funeral. She tells us all the pictures she had of her parents were burnt in the rubble. Monica says all she can do now is pray that her mom makes a full recovery.
It's just hard to believe to see her or she's unconscious, and in fact, even if she is okay, it's going to be hard to say, oh, your husband's gone, my dad's gone. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to tell her. I know it's going to hurt her.
A painful situation there. Well, Monica says her pit bull and the family cat also died in the fire. Now, there was also another man, Francisco Figueroa, who lived in the duplex-style home. He was not injured, and the Red Cross is now working to help him in Salisbury. Well, I did spend some time earlier this afternoon in the neighborhood where this tragic fire happened to see firsthand how the community is dealing with this tragedy. One of those neighbors, Paige Dorsey, lives next door. Paige, you spoke with me earlier. You got a knock on the door at 4:30 this morning. Walk me through what happened.
Yes, ma'am. I couldn't even believe when I opened the door that the flames were just rolling out of their back bedroom. It was lipping on top of the roof. I just couldn't even believe that was happening. Our first reaction was to call 911, but as me and my son were running over to the house, it was just too intense. We couldn't get to the front door. We couldn't get to the back door. We couldn't get any response from the people that were inside. We thought that the daughter was in there too. When the ambulance and the fire company came and they got her mom out, they were still looking for Monica. She was at her grandparents' house right here down the street. It was a terrible, terrible thing for our community.
Gives me chills to think that any other day, Monica, the daughter who we heard from earlier, would have been in that home. You said she was thankfully, though, at her grandparents' home, right?
Yes, ma'am. She was at her grandparents' house. She didn't stay there very much. It was just nothing but, I guess, the grace of God that she stayed at her grandparents' house last night. When me and my son ran down to the house to wake her up, it was bad. It was real bad.
And Paige, when you spoke with me earlier, you said that this is a close-knit community. You've known this couple for years, right? What can you tell me about them?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Our community is really close. We've had a lot of tragedies here on the Patrick Avenue and on Keene Avenue in just the last couple years. Our community is pulling together. We're going to do what we can for Monica, but we also need some outreach from the public. She's lost everything, her parents, her house, her clothes. Unbelievable. We didn't expect them to pass.
Really no other way to describe this than tragic. Our thoughts are with you, Paige, and everyone affected by this tragedy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
A trench collapse trapped a 38-year-old construction worker for 2 hours today in Sussex County. This was the scene from Chopper 16 about noontime today. Emergency crews responding to the call. That's the 400 block of Plantation Drive west of Seaford in the Governor's Grant subdivision. The victim was working on underground utilities on a home when the trench collapsed, leaving him waist deep in sand and dirt. Well, after 2 hours, crews are finally able to rescue the man. He's being treated right now at Nanticoke Memorial Hospital, where he is listed in guarded condition. For story. It is a busy afternoon. We are following first a developing story out of Salisbury. Salisbury police continuing to take a close look at the center at Salisbury. They took a phone call around 11 a.m. this morning from a man who said his cousin had placed a bomb outside of the mall, the center at Salisbury. Since that time, at about 11 a.m., the mall has been shut down as police and canine units, again, very painstakingly search for anything suspicious. WBOC's Bill Mitch joins us live from outside the mall. Bill, you spoke with employees inside the mall who say there was a lot of confusion when police ordered people out of the building.
Steve, during our time out here, we've had quite a few people who are...
Some breaking news coming out of Kent County and Caroline County, Maryland and Marydale. About 2:30 this afternoon, firefighters responded to a call of a house fire. The house apparently fully involved. Our Kent County Bureau Chief Mike Chesney live in Chopper 16. Mike, what do we know at this point?
Well, Steve, we're just getting preliminary information. I want to give you a look at the scene beneath us here in Chopper 16. That is what is left of this single-family home here in the Hartley area of Kent County, as you can see.
It's once again an update on this breaking news that we're following out of Sussex County, out of Georgetown. A verdict has been reached in the Melvin Morse trial. Morse, the Milton pediatrician, accused of waterboarding his stepdaughter. He has been found guilty on 6 of 8 counts that he was facing. This coming after all-day deliberations by the jury, the verdict being announced just a little while ago. 6 of 8 counts he was found guilty of, including 2 of the most serious charges of waterboarding. Found guilty on felony charges of recklessly endangering the welfare of a child. We're going to have more on this verdict coming your way on WBOC News at 6. But once again, Melvin Morse, the Milton pediatrician, has just been found guilty in Georgetown just a little while ago on those charges he was facing. Much more coming up at 6. We begin this afternoon with breaking news out west. The excitement of a Friday afternoon before Christmas has been shattered by gunfire at a Colorado high school. This is a live look from Arapahoe High School in Centennial, Colorado, where police now confirm that one student has been shot and is in critical condition. And they say the shooter in this incident turned the gun on himself and is dead. Police were outside the school. Students were seen walking at one point just a little while ago toward the school's running track with their hands in the air. Again, this is suburban Denver, Centennial, Colorado. This school, by the way, is about 8 miles east of Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado, where you may recall those 2 teenage shooters killed 12 classmates and a teacher before killing themselves. That was back in 1999. Again, a live look from Centennial, Colorado, where one student has been shot, according to police, and is in surgery right now in critical condition. And they say the shooter has turned the gun on himself and is dead of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. More details on this as they become available. Up this afternoon on WBOC News at 4, what's good for the goose may not always be good for the gander. Why a growing population of Canada geese is causing concern for people living in one part of Delmarva. But
Coming up on WBOC News This Morning.
Taxi cab scammers in Dewey Beach could be costing you money. Why police are cracking down.
Spring is finally here, but school districts in Maryland are still dealing with a few snow days.
And find out why this cool-looking boat is really attracting some filmmakers to Delmarva. Coming up this afternoon on WBOC News at 4, there's a new director in charge of the Worcester County Humane Society, but the shelter is facing a number of problems. Today, how she plans to turn it all around. That story and more today at 4.